What's up, WWE Universe, and welcome, wrestling fans, to my WWE show review on Tim Reynolds Show, as I'm reviewing the Monday Night Raw from Ontario, Canada. And man, did we have one historic and epic main event on this show, as it would be main event Jey Uso taking on the Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker in the main event of this show. And make sure you stay tuned to the end of this WWE show review, as you will find out that WWE history was made on this Monday Night Raw show. And we would see it kicked off, though, with Dirty Dominic Mysterio and the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan coming through in a badass lowrider, showing up to the show there, the Judgment Day members themselves in style. But we would see them really interrupted by Big Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, as they would be attacking each other to kick off the show, throwing each other through a table and a t-shirt stand of all things. Wow, what a way to kick off Monday Night Raw, as we would then see Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom, the Lovebirds, go out to the middle of the ring to address the WWE Universe, where Liv Morgan would say that her revenge tour has been going so well, but then she would be interrupted by Rhea Ripley, the #1 contender, as she would come out and say, "Hey Liv, look, I'm not gonna lay my hands on you. I just want to talk to you face to face and say what I got to say to you." And then she would tell Dirty Dominic Mysterio to get the hell out of her way. But then she would let Liv Morgan know that, hey, there is a new stipulation for their match at Bad Blood, as it will be Rhea Ripley taking on the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan in a match where Dirty Dominic Mysterio won't be able to go back to his old tricks, as he will be suspended above the ring in a shark cage. That's right, folks. And they did not like this, as the Judgment Day members were livid. And then before we know it, Rhea Ripley said, "I take back that first thing I said," as she headbutts the Women's World Champion and knocks out Liv Morgan, sending a huge statement to both her and Dirty Dominic Mysterio before their match at Bad Blood. What a way to kick off Monday Night Raw. And then we would see next up after this, our first match of the night, as it would be Sami Zayn taking on Ludwig Kaiser. After these two had a confrontation last week, when Sami Zayn was actually trying to challenge the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther to a championship match, where Gunther has been denying Sami Zayn for weeks at a matchup against him. But we would see Ludwig Kaiser actually take offense to this, and after attacking Sami Zayn last week, when Sami Zayn was able to fight back and deliver a Halula kick, now we see this matchup here on Monday Night Raw. And man, these two guys would really take it to one another, leaving everything inside the square circle, as we would see Ludwig Kaiser get the advantage early, as Sami Zayn went to go counter on the outside right near the announcers area, the little square area, if you will. He steps on the ring barrier and goes to counter Ludwig, but Ludwig would push him into a chair there over in the announcer square, and man, Sami Zayn would tumble right into this chair, and it looked like he might be out for the count, as we would see Ludwig take advantage of this. But then shortly thereafter, Sami Zayn would counter with a couple of big moves himself that led to an Alula kick, which gave Sami Zayn the victory here on Monday Night Raw in this first match of the show. But shortly thereafter, we would see Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion, show up his face, and he would call out Sami Zayn, saying, "You want this match so bad? Well, I got one question then. I've got one answer then for you, actually, here in front of everybody in Ontario, Canada. I can't think of a better place to tell you my answer to your challenge is still no." That's right, the World Heavyweight Champion is still backing off, not letting Sami Zayn get the challenge he deserves for the World Heavyweight Championship, as Gunther walks off in this one, Sami Zayn, without this challenge accepted. And then, guys, moving on to our next part of Monday Night Raw, we would see next up after this, The New Day trying to clear things up with one another after the confrontation and confusion that happened last week with the LWO and against the Judgment Day for their World Tag Team titles in that championship match. Now, obviously, they want to get back on the same page, as we've seen Kofi Kingston try to bring out some old tricks and some old things from the old New Day to try to cheer up Xavier Woods. But Woods would suggest, hey man, that's the old stuff. We've got to move on and grow from that and be better, because hey, we haven't won a title in about 3 years. And Kofi would say, all right, I'm feeling what you put down, man. How about you take the lead in this one? You be the QB, and I'll follow your lead in this one. And we would see Xavier Woods say, all right, I'm with you on that. but they would be interrupted by American Made, where Chad Gable would open up his big mouth talking bad about the New Day, saying, hey, it's really got to be sucky to stand there as a has-been, talking about all the times when you used to be good, telling his American Made brethren, the Creed brothers, not to do that and make sure you pay attention close. But Xavier Woods would take offense to this and say, hey, if you want to run your mouth, how about we have a match later on tonight, which they would accept, as it would be later on that evening, the Creed brothers of American Made taking on the New Day in a matchup later on Monday Night Raw. And then after we see this particular confrontation backstage, we would see another backstage moment where the Judgment Day went to go talk to General Manager Adam Pearce, as Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan are livid, if you will, after finding out the stipulations at Bad Blood, which Dirty Dominic Mysterio is freaking out about because he doesn't want to be locked up in a shark cage. But because General Manager Adam Pearce said that it is final and official, he would walk away, and then we would see them joined by the rest of the Judgment Day, Carlito and JD McDonough, who was there to kind of support the two. But we find out that Carlito is in a match up against Dragon Lee, where Liv Morgan seems to be calling the shots, as she would say, don't worry, Carlito, Dirty Dom and JD will be there with you at ringside to help you out, as Carlito heads down to the ring for this next matchup. But before they get there, the Judgment Day confronts Ilya Dragunov, as they seem to have a beef with him the last couple of weeks, and now JD McDonough gets in his face and promises to confront him next week before they walk off. Interesting confrontation here after that. And then we would see the next match of the night, as we would see Carlito take on LWO member Dragon Lee. And man, we would see a really epic matchup in this one, as the Judgment Day would be up to their old tricks in this one, but Dragon Lee and the LWO would go ahead and counter that, as we would see Dragon Lee get the victory over Carlito of the Judgment Day in this one and get the win after some help from his LWO members in this one. So what a really good match, the second match here to kick off Monday Night Raw. And then next up after this one, we would see backstage where The Miz was met up by Karrion Kross, as The Miz was trying to get ready for his match later on in the evening against Big Bronson Reed. And he would say, what do you want, Karrion Kross? As Kross was actually coming up saying he thinks it's kind of disrespectful how nobody is showing The Miz sort of respect backstage, especially amongst the superstars. And Miz would be like, really, why do you think that is? And he goes, well, I don't want to tell you this, man, but I got to just tell you that I don't believe that, but I'm wishing you the best of luck out there against Big Bronson Reed. And of course, we would see The Miz say, and of course, Karrion Kross would say before he left, remember, not all monsters are not that hard to take down. And of course, we would see The Miz go, oh, I know that, and go out onto his match after this. And next, also, we would see an interview backstage with Sheamus after he's had a couple of confrontations with Pete Dunne over the last couple of months. We would see him interviewed and ask about that and how that's supposedly to be settled, where we would see Sheamus actually trying to get the WWE Universe to call him Butch and Butch and Butch over and over again, because we know that drives Pete Dunne crazy. But then we would actually see Pete Dunne get the better of Sheamus later on in the evening, as he would attack Sheamus backstage once again using the cricket bat that he used in his matchup with him last week, and he just beat down Sheamus, making a huge statement here on Monday Night Raw on this one. Tough to see there for the Sheamus guy. And next we would see The Miz come out for his match against Big Bronson Reed. But as Bronson Reed was coming out to the ring, he was attacked by Braun Strowman again. That's right, folks. Some old school WWE in this one, I'm telling you. As we have two big men in the ring attacking each other back and forth before what comes out? Of course, WWE security. Yeah, like that's gonna help or do anything. As we have two giant monsters in the ring just literally throwing security guys across the ring, outside the ring, across the floor, just brutally beating the hell out of all these security guards. We even seen two guys get stacked up and get hit with the tsunami. We seen another two guys get double choke slammed by Braun Strowman. This was epic to see, and it was not done from there, as these two tore each other apart, so much so that later on in the evening, General Manager Adam Pearce said that it will be official, as next week we will see the last monster standing, as it will be Big Bronson Reed taking on Braun Strowman next week on Monday Night Raw in what essentially is a last man standing match. Wow, what an epic showing here from both of these guys on Monday Night Raw on this one. And then going, guys, we see next up on Monday Night Raw as Drew McIntyre would come out with a mean and angry look on his face as he confronts the WWE Universe and CM Punk after CM Punk's words last week where he promised to make Drew McIntyre bleed and bring out the devil within him to do everything that is possible in his body to do and push himself to the limit to take out Drew McIntyre no matter what he's got to do. And we would see Drew actually make a couple of own promises himself, as Drew would say that he did not want to get back in Hell in the Cell, but he knows he has to get back into Hell in the Cell, as he promises to make CM Punk bleed, and he promises to push Punk to the limit so that way no one will never say the name CM Punk once again, as Drew McIntyre wants to finish off CM Punk once and for all inside Hell in the Cell at the premium live event Bad Blood, as these two are ready to go at each other and take it all to the limit inside the steel that is the Hell in the Cell. Whoo, man, what a creepy moment here from Drew McIntyre. And then next up, we would see GM Adam Pearce, as we found out that last man standing match would be next week. And then after that, we would see a tag team match in the women's division, as we would see the former champions, the Unholy Union, the team of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, taking on Damage Control, Ito Sky, and Kairi Sane, as Damage Control was able to really dominate this matchup to get the win and make a big statement, especially after we found out last week when Io Sky was able to defeat Bianca Belair. We would see before this matchup, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, would talk to Damage Control, letting Io Sky know that you may have gotten lucky last week, but we're watching you and we stand on business when it comes to these women tag team titles. And Damage Control promises to go after those titles next, which they will probably end up doing after getting the victory here over Unholy Union on Monday Night Raw. Man, what a Monday Night Raw so far, guys. Pretty dang good. And then next up, guys, we would see an interview with the Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker, as backstage he would be talking about how he knows there's a bunch of dogs out there in Ontario, Canada. That's right, as we would see him pumped up and ready for his championship match later on that evening, pretty much saying that he can't wait to beat the heck out of Jey Uso in this matchup. And he would also say that no one is going to take his title from him, as few months down the road he promises to give Jey Uso another title match because somebody in this match is getting their ass whooped and it ain't gonna be him. Oh, some big words from the Intercontinental Champion. And then we see next up on Monday Night Raw, guys, as we would get a tag team match of the New Day taking on American Made for the Creed Brothers. But just before that, we would see Jey Uso backstage getting ready for his matchup, as he would be met by Sami Zayn, who came to give him some wise words and also root him and wish him luck in his championship match later on that evening. Man, what a good friend in Sami Zayn. And then this matchup we have here, the tag team of the New Day versus American Made, would be one heck of a match, and we would see the New Day get the chance to win at the very, very end. But of course, Chad Gable interrupts and interferes in this matchup, but Xavier Woods would counter that as he goes and attacks Chad Gable, but he loses his mind as we see Xavier Woods not stay focused in this matchup as he attacks Chad Gable, and he's not able to stay in the matchup, as the Creed Brothers would take advantage of this one and were able to get the victory over the New Day in this one. And man, Xavier Woods did not take this lightly, as we would see shortly after this backstage, we would see LWO come to talk to the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and explain, hey, we're sorry for last week, as Rey Mysterio was the one trying to show respect, but Xavier Woods didn't want to have any of it, as he really confronted Rey Mysterio, talking a lot of smack right back to him, where we would see Rey Mysterio go, hey man, look, I ain't got time for this drama, man. I gotta get ready for Finn Balor next week. But then we would see Xavier Woods, oh, see, you don't got time for me? Are you kidding me? You former world champions don't have time for me? Kofi Kingston would try to chime in and say, hey man, chill out. And he would go, no, you would shut, you're another world champion running your mouth. You know what, Rey, I'm sick and tired of you doing it, man. If you want to fight, let's fight. I will beat you. And of course, Rey doesn't back down from a challenge. So Rey Mysterio would say, you know what? You want your match? You got it next week, as it is official, as Rey Mysterio will now take on Xavier Woods next week instead of Finn Balor. Wow, what a confrontation backstage. And what's going to happen with the New Day, I don't know, but Xavier Woods definitely looks like he's cracking as especially in the skull, and Kofi can't do much about it. Man, what a Monday Night Raw here so far after this, guys. And then we see next up on the show, we would have we would have just after this, obviously we talk about the New Day, and the next step after that, we would have a video promo of Damian Priest talking about Finn Balor and their matchup at Bad Blood, the premium live event, where Damian Priest says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" as he promises to take out Finn Balor, who he thought of as a brother before, but is no longer his brother now, as these two go at it at Bad Blood. And then next up after that, guys, we would see a creepy video from the Wyatt Six, and I'm telling you folks, this was not one to repeat on the show here, as you got to see it for yourself, as there was some words and a QR code that was shown in this video. You have to see it for yourself. But now, folks, we make it to the main event on Monday Night Raw, as we do have an Intercontinental Championship match, as we do have the number one contender, main event Jey Uso taking on the champion Braun Breaker. And man, did we have one heck of a match in this one, guys, as we actually seen Braun Breaker kick out of a spear and splash combo from Jey Uso when we all thought that Jey was gonna win the title, his first championship in WWE, but Braun Breaker would fight back as he delivers a couple of massive spears and big moves of his own in this matchup, and we would even see outside the ring as they get involved, using anything they can to win the matchup. Braun Breaker using everything at his disposal to beat Jey Uso, but we would see Jey Uso counter and spear Braun Breaker through the timekeeper's wall, right through the barrier. Oh man, and we would see Jey Uso quickly take advantage of this momentum as he grabs Braun Breaker, throws him back into the ring, delivers a spear inside the middle of the ring, and then Jey Uso climbs to the top, and when he's at the top of the top rope, he jumps in for the Uso splash, and then we would get WWE history, folks, as we would get the 1, 2, 3, as main event Jey Uso now has won a singles championship in the WWE, as he wins this main event matchup and becomes the new Intercontinental Champion. And wow, what a main event match to cap off a Monday Night Raw in Ontario, Canada. Wow, this was crazy. History made as Jey Uso finally wins his first singles title in his WWE career. Nobody's seen this coming. An upset of epic proportions. As I told you guys, it'd be well worth it to watch to the end of this WWE show review, as this is a WWE show review episode right here on Tim Reynolds Show, as this one was Monday Night Raw from Ontario, Canada. And wow, thank you guys for checking out Tim Reynolds Show's WWE show review. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and check out more from Tim Reynolds Show and all the sports entertainment that you only get right here on this channel. And thank you guys, and make sure you check out my next WWE show reviews, as I do them for every Friday night SmackDown, and I also have more NFL content, college football content, and just some more sports entertainment stuff for you guys, just to make you laugh and also talk a little bit more with each other, to make a community here on this sports entertainment channel, Tim Reynolds Show. Thank you guys so much. Peace out, everybody. Have a great evening. Let's go, WWE Universe. Another badass Monday Night Raw in the books. Let's go.